Hi, this is Coralla Ficklin at CorallaFicklin.com, WelcomeNetwork.com, Welcome.com, to download any of our study aids, study cards, study guides. It's iStudyCards.com, iStudyGuides.com, iStudyCards.com. Also anywhere, INIWHERE.com, and to download any of my writings, books, essays, papers on language, you can go to Pedians, PEDIANS.com. Okay. I'm interested in pronunciation a lot in English, okay? But that's not the only thing I'm interested in English, and that's the only thing I'm interested in making videos of. I'm also interested in expressions and proverbs and sayings, but not just only proverbs and sayings and expressions from American English, but from all different versions of the English language. And I'm also interested in taking a particular subject, okay, or a particular theme and playing with it, and seeing and going through it and looking at all the different things you can do with that subject or that theme in all different versions of English. One of the things that I did was do research on food. Food as far as different food products. What are they called in American English versus what are they called in British English, or maybe Australian English, or Jamaican English, or Canadian English, or English from Nigeria, or English from New Zealand, okay, or from Bermudas, or from the Bahamas. Also expressions with food, and not just, once again, not just American expressions with food, but expressions with food from other different English-speaking countries. Because the way Americans look at food many times is very different than, let's say, an Australian will look at food. Not only do we sometimes call the same product by different names, we also sometimes have different expressions for the same product. And in one version of English, this product could mean X, when in a different version of English, this product could mean, I'm talking metaphorically or figuratively, could mean something different. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Now, I'm looking at the cards that's available at iStudyGuides.com or iStudyCards.com, or anywhere, INIWHERE, and I'm looking at the cards. That's why when I look over here, I'm looking at the computer, I'm looking at the cards, and I'm looking at what the information is. Let me just give you the information. Now, first the card says term or expression. Then it's the origin. Where does this expression, where does this term come from? And then what is its meaning? Sometimes what is its meaning in American English, or sometimes what is its meaning in Australian and British English, or Jamaican English, or what's its meaning, okay? Sometimes you're giving a sentence also. So here's the term, all-purpose flour. Now that's an American expression. When they say, I'm going to buy some all-purpose flour. But if you were to go to England, or if you go to the UK, or if you were to go to Australia, they don't say all-purpose flour. They probably wouldn't understand you. Although they probably understand American English much better than we would understand Australian and British English. Because American English is out there because of movies, because of television, because of radio, because of music. Versus Australian and British English, most Americans are almost completely unfamiliar with. But all-purpose flour in American English means, all-purpose flour, which is American English, in Australian and British English is plain flour. They just call it plain flour. We call it all-purpose flour. Now this is a British expression, and they say as to be as different as chalk and cheese. American English does not say that. So an American normally, unless they hear the context, would not understand when you say they are as different as chalk and cheese. To be as different as chalk and cheese. For an American, you'd have to explain it means to be dissimilar, to be unlike, not to be alike. That means to be very different from each other. Let me see, as different as, as different as oil and water. I think that's what we say in American English, as different as oil and water. Oh, no, that's to mix it like oil and water. Whatever. Maybe we don't have an expression for that. I can't think of the expression in American English right now. Okay, American English, the expression is as easy as pie. Now, I don't know why something is easy as pie. It is easy as pie, but that's the expression. To be easy as pie, in a British English, they say as easy as kiss your hand. An American would not understand that. Like I said, unless you give them some type of context, they normally will not understand. And let me see. No, I don't give you the explanation of what that means, so let me give you the explanation. To be as easy as pie means very easy, not difficult at all. If something is easy as pie, or in British English, as easy as kiss your hand, it means it's very easy, it's simple, it's not complicated. At the bottom of the food chain, okay, that's English throughout. British, American, Australian, Jamaican. The meaning is, when you are at the bottom of the food chain, the meaning is the lowest level employee. So you're the lowest level employee that everybody can order around. Everybody can say, John, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. You're the lowest level employee. And here's a sentence maybe to help you understand a little bit better. And once again, I'm looking over here, I'm looking at the web page. No, I'm looking at the card itself. Because I am at the bottom of the food chain, I have absolutely no power or pull here. To have pull means to have power, okay? But if you have no pull, no power, that means you are the victim of everybody. So that the expression is at the bottom of the food chain. Okay, let's see here. Okay, at the top of the food chain. Well, it's just the opposite. If you're at the top of the food chain, you're the person in charge, you're the boss, you're the CEO. And here's the expression, he's at the top of the food chain. Treat him with kid gloves. When you treat somebody with kid gloves, that means you treat them very gently. You acknowledge and you let them know that you're acknowledging that they are in a superior position than you are. Okay, so you're at the top of the food chain. Okay. This is, let me see. Okay. Once again, another expression. I think this is all, I think everyone who speaks English would understand this. To be as easy as slicing bread. I think that's understandable. To be as easy as slicing bread. To be very easy, or as easy as pie, or as the British says, as easy as kissing your hand. Here's a sentence. They thought that fighting this war was going to be as easy as slicing bread. It turned out not to be that easy. Okay, so they were fooled. This probably is just an American expression. To be bigger than a bread box. To be bigger than a bread box. That means to be big, large, larger than normal, or sizable. So if something is bigger than a bread box, it's pretty big. Let's just say that the house that she bought is bigger than a bread box. So she bought a pretty big house. Okay. Give you another expression. To be full of beans. Now, this is a British expression unless you give the context. And the person, American, could understand through the context. An American probably wouldn't understand. To be full of beans. That means to be full of life, to be lively, or to be peppy. Okay, peppy. That means full of, bubbly, full of life. Full of life. That's a British expression. It is not an American expression. Like I said, unless you give the context, an American probably wouldn't understand you. Okay, my time is already up. So this is Corella Ficklin at CorellaFicklin.com.